Hi friends, here I am back in my truck recording again. Look, some things have been coming up lately that I really need to address with you guys because there's so much fear mongering out there about who is allowed to go into the fifth and who is not allowed to go into the fifth. And I think this really is the time that we need to talk about this because I can tell you exactly who can and who can't by the interactions that I have had with our friends over these years. You have to remember that the fifth dimension is not the perfect people dimension. It's really not. These people make mistakes and they have their own issues, just like we have our own issues. And I will be the very first one to throw myself underneath the bus if need be, because I feel like I try to be pretty humble about everything in life and the things that happen, but I make mistakes also, and so do they. So I'm going to have to throw them under the bus a little bit so that I can help everyone understand who is going to be going to the new earth and who probably won't be going to the new earth. It is unnecessary for you to take up some kind of Tai Chi program, some meditation program, some mantra, something. You do not have to do that. That is ridiculous. People are out here saying that you have to do all of this stuff in order to get to the fifth. No, it's not true. You do not have to do all that to get to the fifth. Now, how does that play into things? It is important that if you feel like you have some trauma, that you haven't dealt with, you have some emotions, some deep-seated emotions that you have blocked, that you have not dealt with, then yeah, it would be good for you to deal with it. Because the thing is that the better we become as human beings, the higher our vibrational frequency becomes. When that becomes high enough, then our whole planet has the opportunity to shift. But I have heard in other circles that I don't know if it's trustworthy or not, because they do try to talk to me, but I can't hear them. I don't do telepathy. I don't know how to do telepathy. And reading lips, oh my gosh. I don't know that they fully understand that when I'm looking at them, I don't see them in color. I see them in black and white, shades of black and white. And sometimes they are moving back and forth. I transfer, my consciousness goes through different dimensions. Now, I don't know if that is someone there at the Anchor building is doing that to help me see these different people to make sure I'm seeing everyone. I don't know if that's the case or if it's something that pertains directly to me. So I have a very, very difficult time seeing them. They'll come up and they'll move their mouth, and I can tell that they're trying to really articulate the words that they're saying. Or sometimes they just do a drive, flyby, try to tell me something. I have no idea what they are saying. And as an example, one of the healing angels, and I'm going to do another video for you guys and go over some of these people for the ones who are new so they understand who I'm talking about. The ones that I call the healing angels, some of them have real wings, like attached wings. They have a feather collar. Others have mechanical wings. And they all dress in black. They dress like those from the fourth. The ones that we call the demons. They dress like them. And I understand why. The process that they have to do is mean. It's very physically and emotionally mean to the other people in order to implant this plasma. So I'm sure that these guys are dressed like the fourth, so there's no lasting hard feelings, I guess, lasting hard feelings towards the angelic group after this. It makes complete sense. So again, I'm going to throw myself underneath the bus too, because I think you guys need to understand that these people are not perfect. There are many different realms out there. The fourth contains the people that we call demons. there are different classes of those people. The angels really taught me a lot about them. I mean, really did. Just from their behavior, I was able to garner a lot about them. Because my stance has always been fight. I'm going to fight you. You're a demon. I'm going to send you back. Where you go? And I've come a long way since that. I really have. I've come a long way. So they dress like them, and I'm sure it's to try to not cause any lasting trauma to the ones who are working on the building. So about a month and a half ago, one of the angels came to me and said something, and I tried so hard, because it's important to me. I want to know what they're saying. If they're trying to communicate to me, I want to know exactly what they're saying, because it's important to me. It's important that I understand what they want me to know. So at first it looked like we lost one. And I mean, I thought, oh God, it can't be that. Please don't tell me somebody died, And he just took off. He just blurted this out and took off. Well, I couldn't hear him, but thank goodness Chompy, I'll tell you all about Chompy too. He was there. Thank goodness. He is just amazing. So I'm running these words through my head, trying to figure out what this angel had said. And so I looked at Chompy and I said, did he just say that somebody died, that we lost one? And he shook his head no. And I said, okay, all right, thank God. Okay, so everything else I can figure, it'll be fine. Whatever it is, it'll be fine. So I started thinking about it. I said, did he say we're almost done? And Chompy said, yeah, we're almost done. This was a month and a half ago, you guys. So I haven't really said anything about it, because I've been waiting to see signs, some kind of sign. But I will tell you, go ahead and pack your go bag, because they did tell me before that we would be able to take our belongings with us. Now, I don't know if anything's changed from that, but I do have some stuff packed. And any project that you've ever wanted to do, get that done now. Get it completed so that you have work on that karma, so that you have no reason to come back unless you want to. So, in my case, I always wanted to make one of those resin pyramids with an ocean scene and put fairy lights around it. It took me forever, but I finally did it. I always wanted to knit. I have knit now, I think 6 hats and 2 or 3 scarves. I think 3. So these are just some things that personally that I have done to try to get, those things caught up. And like I said, also get a to-go bag packed. It doesn't necessarily have to have your whole life in it, but anything right now, winter clothing, anything that you think you could pop in there in the event that it did happen quickly and you didn't have time. Now, the way I understand it, the last thing I heard that kind of resonated with me is that Mother Earth, Gaia, is also made of energy, and that she will be ascending as well. Her energy will be infused into this new planet. The new planet is already done. They are just seeding people on it right now. I'm telling you, these fairies are incredible. They have, oh my gosh, I've seen some stuff. So they do keep it so long within themselves. And then when they pop it out, it becomes this, almost like a plasma being, cloud kind of ghost. They're lighter. They're not as dense as the people that I see. They're light. And sometimes I think they don't get to stay as long, because the older man who is a shapeshifter, he's I think the senior there. He takes the kids along. At first I thought, what in the world? Is he bringing his kids into work? I'm like, why is this man carrying around children? It didn't make sense to me. And then I finally figured out what it is that some of them come into the world not fully developed. And he does keep them with him until they fully develop. And it's amazing to see. I mean, it really is. It's amazing. So back to, they're not perfect. And I hate throwing anybody underneath the bus. I really have had such a hard time with this. When I was first there, I think I told you guys about Angry Angel. I thought that they were angels. I'm not sure exactly what they are now. I know that I think there's some sort of Lyran connection to them because they do have the long canines. And I asked them one time something about that. And they all smiled. Nobody, maybe they only knew like the name. Maybe they didn't understand anything else that I said because, again, most of them use telepathy, but some of them do verbally talk as well. So, Angry Angel. Angry Angel got on my nerves. I mean, he really did. I was trying my best to be as nice to him as I could, though, you know. And every time he would come up to me and snarl, I don't like that. I don't take kindly to that. It makes me mad when people come up to me and just snarl at me. Well, did it to everybody, but still, it was making me mad. So every time he would do it, I started sending him waves of love. And a couple of times he kind of like smiled and laughed about it, like, okay, it's doing something. It's brightening his mood. He's not being so grumpy butt all the time. And part of it is that some of them don't want me to help with this discharge. And there is nobody in charge. Trust me, I have asked for years. I have bullied them over trying to figure out who is in charge. Now, they do defer to the angelic group a lot, but they will never tell you that they are in charge either. So basically, you have these groups of people who understand the mission. They know what they have to do. They're volunteers to do it, and they are undertaking it. So when these issues come up, these different issues, they don't really know what to do about it. Now, Chompy and one of the other shapeshifters in particular, they will ask me for help. They're like, oh, heck no, we need help. She can help. I mean, because some of these get stuck and they can't discharge this plasma for like a day even, and they get sicker and sicker. And so Chompy, he's like, oh yeah, you're here, you're going to help. I mean, it's so funny. He got a little entitled about it at times, you know, which I love him and I would do it anyhow, you know, regardless, doesn't matter. So I'm doing my thing. I'm helping whoever asks me to help. It's very difficult for me to be accurate with this because I'm changing dimensions. I'm following a shapeshifter. So somebody who starts out looking like a curly-haired blonde dog, next thing I know, their hair goes up short, their hair goes long. Completely change. I'm trying to follow that person to the person who needs it. Sometimes that person is behind somebody else, and I'm trying my best to send that love energy to the person who's ill. But I'm like a wild child sometimes. I mean, it goes to other ones too. And what they don't understand is that I can't stop it. Once I've let it out of the gate, I can't bring it back. I can't bring that love energy back. It's gone. It's going to where it is. So what happens sometimes is I'll be sending it out, and the next thing I know, I've been targeting the person that Chompy had showed me, right? Been targeting them. And the next thing I know, I'm up front. Well, that energy, baby, it's already been released. It's on its way. So I'm up front, and I've just hit the whole row of people up front. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but this is what happened, you know? So I've told them over and over what happened. And I don't know if they discussed it among themselves or not. So Angry Angel, one night, I look up and three of the real angels, the healing angels, three of them are like on top of me, like one on each side and one above me. And here is Angry Angel trying his ever loving best to get at me. And I mean, he was like throwing them to the side to get at me. And it's funny to me now because he can't hurt me. He couldn't do anything to me. He got all the way to me and didn't know what to do. I don't even know why he was mad at me. I have no idea why he was even mad at me. I don't know. But something sent him through the roof. And my feelings were so hurt, you guys. I'm not kidding you. My feelings were so hurt at that moment. And so I told the angels too. I said, can somebody tell me what I've done wrong? Because I'm not trying to provoke anybody. I have no idea. And I was so upset. I'm like, here I am, a woman laying in my bed, trying to help you. I've been through this for how long? I've put my life on hold, and I'm trying to help you. And now this little punk comes and tries to hurt me. Oh, I was mad. Oh, I was mad. And So again, I got nothing. I got no feedback. I didn't know it. What? So the next night, I sat down with the angels and I said, look, you've got to do something. Either get rid of him, or if you need him, which I understand you might. I said, if you need him, you need to make him bright, because I want to keep track of him. I don't want him like jumping up behind me, spooking me. You know, I mean, at the time, I didn't know that they really couldn't hurt me. So they did that. They made him really bright, but he did stay with the group. So I just tried to avoid him. He avoided me, didn't come anywhere near me. Probably, I'd say within the week, that's when I saw the body come in, and the people were crying around the body. And my first thought was that it was Angry Angel. And my very first instinct was this sickening, somebody I love has been hurt. That was my response. And of course, I healed his body and he got back in it. But I was so glad for that, because I could have like powed him with energy many times. Trust me. I had to like kind of keep my wits about me and just, you know, not engage with him, even though I was mad. I was really mad. But my first instinct was to help him, because he was hurt. He was very hurt. So, and I was very proud of that. I was very proud of it. So the second occurrence was someone from that same group. I guess I think they're part Lyran. An elderly gentleman. I say elderly? No, not elderly. Probably like if he were in human years, somewhere between 40 and 60. Just an older guy, not elderly. Probably one of the oldest ones there, though. And one night, he came at me, but not like Angry Angel. He came at me with this crazed look on his face, like a crazy person. Like he'd had a nervous breakdown kind of thing. And he wasn't like jumping at me like Angry Angel was. He was just coming at me like, I'm coming at you. And I would never notice, probably had the other angels not been there. And the angel slept over me a couple of nights. I think it was to give me comfort more than, that I was in any kind of danger, because I'm not in any kind of danger. I could kick their butts from here to the void if I wanted to. I have learned this power. We are very powerful. So I'm not worried about it. But the next day, it really hurt my feelings. I'm like, what did I do? Will somebody please tell me? I got nothing. He came back to me trying to apologize the next day. He can't really talk to me, but he sat down beside me. And I mean, of course I forgave him. I mean, like I said, it almost looked like he'd had nervous breakdowns. I'm not sure what happened. So those are two different incidences where, I mean, is that your ideal of a perfect person? You know what I'm saying? It's not. And there are other ones too. I have a shapeshifter that goes outside, and I think his thing might be a little bit of jealousy because I can pop these so easy. He works so hard though, and he does a fantastic job. He really does, but he'll come up and snarl at me. And I have laid him out, and I have laid him out in public. I've laid many of them out in public over their behavior. And sometimes I think, what right do I have? But I have every right, because they're in my house. I have been doing this for them. I am anchoring in this new world. I have every right to defend myself and to put them in their place when they're not doing something right. So I have been. So I called him out publicly. I mean, it is what it is. Now I've started to do that instead of like just telling them, because there's nobody in charge. So again, like I said, I've been calling them out in public over it. And I told him, I said, you're a coward. For everybody, I said, you're a coward. You come up to me snarling in my face and you run away because you know that there's a possibility that I could hurt you. And I said, really, you need to stop. Grow up. I said, I really hope you grow up, because he is pretty young guy, right? And I was harsh with him. But it had been ongoing, like several times. It had been ongoing. So, like I said, I was harsh with him, but he does a great job. It's no personal hard feelings there. Even now, I have no personal hard feelings against him. I understand they're under a tremendous amount of stress. Now, I have to tell you too, one night, oh my God, one morning rather, I called the angels flying freaks. I was so mad. And I feel so horrible about it. I mean, really horrible. I went back and apologized because I was just really mad. I had a migraine. Again, I have got COVID again from my son. It's like third time, maybe fourth time I've had it. So when it first started, I had the worst migraine of my life. Imagine somebody having a flathead screwdriver poked into your eye, into the back of your eye, and they're just shoving it around, digging around and shoving in the back of your eye. I was in so much pain and sick. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to throw up. And I rarely ever, I get like mild migraines once in a while, but nothing like this, nothing like this. I was in so much pain. They put me right in front of the window. So every time I close my eyes, I go to them, right? But I can't change what I'm looking at. It's somebody else who is doing this. And I have a hunch about it, but I don't know enough for right now to tell you. But they were facing me right towards this bright window. Bright. I mean, like, imagine closing your eyes and being in front of something that is like an LED lamp right in your face. On top of that, the angels, when they fly in between the bright light and me, they're black blobs. So what happens is my eyes have to adjust. They go from, being fully dilated to no, back and forth, back and forth. And most of the time I can handle it fine. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but mostly I can handle it. But this day I had the worst migraine and they would not let up. And I kept saying to them, please stop. Take my eyes away from this window, please. I have a migraine. I'm in pain. I'm sick. I'm going to throw up. Please take my eyes away from this. I was so sick. I didn't want to get out of bed. I was miserable. Well, I kept on telling them, please stop. And they just were not listening to me. They did not get it at all. I lost my ever-loving mind. I really did. I jumped up out of bed and I pulled in the golden light from the golden realm, which really charges me up, and it charges up my heart chakra. And they hate to see me do it because they know. They know that if I let all that energy loose, it could pop everyone around me. But I was so pissed off, I popped everyone around me. And I yelled at them. I was so mad because I had been asking them for probably that point, probably at least 30 minutes. I have a high tolerance for pain. I couldn't take it anymore. 30 minutes. I've been asking them to please stop. They wouldn't stop. They just kept on doing it. So I jumped up and I screamed at them. And one of the things I screamed is, you flying freaks out in front of me. You're causing my eyes to die. Oh my God, I was so mad. And I felt so bad afterwards. Oh my God, I felt so bad afterwards. I did not just call angels flying freaks. Who does that, really? So I apologize to myself. I'm just so sorry. I really am. I feel horrible because you guys were just not listening to me. And I said, I could have handled it so differently. I said, I should have gotten up and just got my sunglasses, put my sunglasses on, and should have gotten up a long time before and taken like some Tylenol or something. I should have just done those things. And I said, I am so sorry. I said, I just gotten to the end of my rope with this. I was in so much pain. And oh my goodness, they forgave me. They forgave me like right away. They were so sweet after that. It was like, they realized that what they had done had caused me great pain. And by them not listening to me, that it really caused me a lot of pain. You guys, the last time I had a headache that bad was when I had a gas leak in my office, and I've never had one that bad. So they were very sweet, so we made up. So my point about all of this is that in order for you to qualify for the fifth dimension, you do not have to be perfect. You really don't. I've seen some other things too that were really bad. Oh, I saw a guy hurt somebody really bad, hurt one of the younger guys really bad. Angels took him and took care of him, but it still made me feel terrible. So I like I said, their tempers get up sometimes. They're just, it is what it is. But here's the two things that really stand out to me about them. One is their ability to forgive. They might stay a little mad for a while, but they do forgive. They really and truly do forgive. They let it go. And the other point is love. I'm telling you, it really matters. That's what matters, is love. It's the energy that I send to heal them. It's the energy that discharges their plasma. Because the healing angels, they are ugly to them, like nasty to them, like it's some kind of ritualistic looking thing. But the others give them love, genuine love. And that's what pops out that plasma. So you do not have to be a perfect person. You do not have to learn any special mantras. You don't have to learn to meditate. But here's the caveat. I hope you do. I hope you do at least some self-care right now. Because the more people who are okay with themselves inside, the more people who are okay and not afraid, then the faster our planet ascends. And I'm hoping that it's enough so that maybe we can reach others and get them to understand too. Because when you think that you're not good enough, when you think that you're just never going to be good enough, how does that hurt your heart? I mean, it really does. How can you be in that loving space when you feel so hurt? So people have to know that they don't have to be perfect to get to the fifth, because Lord knows the fifth aren't perfect. They're not perfect. I'm far from being perfect, and they still hang around with me. I call angels flying freaks after all. I mean, what in the world? So you do not have to be perfect. I promise you that. But you have to love. You have to be able to love. And sometimes that means forgiving yourself. If you do something that just makes you feel terrible inside, I want you to realize that you are still deserving of love just because you made a mistake. Sometimes the mistakes that we make here on earth are really big. They're gigantic mistakes. And sometimes they're really not so big, but we make them big. Myself, I felt horrible, so bad after that migraine outburst of mine. I mean, I really did. I beat myself up for a long time, and they were trying to give me comfort to help me get over it. So if you guys do practice meditation, if you do something that's calming or strength building, right now, I really would encourage you to try to use some visualization. Try to envision yourself going up into the heavens, out of Earth's atmosphere, into a building that you can imagine. For me, I have a couple of different ones. The way that I interact with who I think of as God and Jesus, they're in a building. In the golden realm, I've put them in a building. I've envisioned these great big beautiful doors and like a floating island house kind of thing in the dark in the solar system. And I go up there and I talk with the ones who are there, the golden ones, and I ask them for energy. And in my mind, they gave me a direct spout right from the golden realm, right to me through my crown chakra whenever I needed it. So I would encourage you to do those kinds of things. And please know you are so very loved. Oh my goodness. You are so very loved. And this world is meant to be difficult. It's meant to make us forget things. And I've learned a lot about who I maybe was, because sometimes that kind of plays into things too, I think. I say this because as I told you before, I think they have told me that I did come here for this purpose, to anchor in the new world. And I had a dream that really, I mean, it matches everything that they've been telling me. So I kind of feel like that is the truth. One other time, I was having a horrible, horrible, horrible time. They'd stopped me from helping. I don't, and really the fourth, some of the guys from the fourth had ratted on them. It's a long story, but they ratted them out that I was helping them. And it hurt my heart so bad because I'm seeing them suffer and I can't do anything about it. What? What do you mean? When I know that I can pop that plasma out of them in like less than a second, but I'm getting better about not being so rough. But I wasn't allowed to do anything. I was so devastated. And I had just heard about the Canaanite goddess Asherah. And in the Bible, it says Jehovah and his Asherah. So I can't remember if it was Graham Hancock or if it was the other guy, Billy Carson. I forget which one it was, but I had just heard one of them talking about Asherah and the things that they had found and this, that, and the other. And she's considered the mother of all the angels and had like 80 something children. I mean, just a very loving person, considered by some to be the goddess of love, by some the goddess of the moon and fertility. And anyhow, I thought if anybody could understand my plight, it would be her. So I had never done this before. I went into the collective consciousness and found her because that's where I was headed. Because I figured if anybody could understand, it would be her. So I just started talking to her, and I'm laughing about, here I am talking to myself. And I even told her, I said, I know I'm talking to myself, but I got to talk to somebody because I can't talk to anybody about a lot of this stuff. And so it just really has upset me. And I figured you would be a good person for me to talk to. But I know I'm probably just talking to myself. And just had a good laugh about it, but I had to get it out. So I think it was the next day or the day after, somebody actually came in to the Anchor building, and they everyone prostrated down on the floor. The bowing down where you're all the way stretched out on the floor. They did that. And I mean, I could see the gentleman who came in, but I mean, I don't know who they were or anything like that. And I thought, could that have been her? So I actually went back and talked with her again, and I said, if that was you, I really appreciate that. I said, I don't know what's going to happen, but so anyhow, make a long story short, I kept talking to her. And one day she called me daughter and told me that I am one of her daughters, or I'm her daughter. She didn't say one of, she said I'm her daughter. And I really didn't think she had any daughters. I thought that it was only the male angels that were considered her children. So I thought, woohoo, I've been adopted. How amazing. I've been adopted. And she just kind of said, no, not adopted, like I was her daughter. So I looked it up, and I really dug into some things, and she did have a daughter. And this, oh my gosh, you guys, it really blew me away, because part of my dream was that I came here. I volunteered to come here because others that came before, and the fourth, the ones who look like the Dementors from Harry Potter, they had stopped every person who had tried to be born here to anchor in the New World. And I ended up volunteering for it in this dream. I volunteered for it because I was the fastest flyer. So I thought, well, maybe I can get by them. So that was the dream. The guys confirmed that that was accurate, but I had no idea who I was or whatever. So when I'd been talking with Asherah, I thought, I didn't know she had any daughters. So I went and looked it up, and I did find that in some places she, the pale one, the sun goddess, Shapsu, Shama, I don't know, a couple different names. I should know this, right? But a couple different names, and that originally was all I had found, was records of her. And she was the messenger between El and Asher. She would deliver messages to the other gods and goddesses. Well, I thought, well, gosh, she'd probably fly pretty fast too, don't you think, if she spent all of her time delivering messages to people? So then I found another listed, an Astarte, the goddess of war, anyhow. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. So she may have had one or two daughters. And the reason why I say this, why I bring it up, is because I have, like I said, the ability to move energy in the other realms big time. And I don't know if everybody has that same energy. I assumed that we could all do it. But then once I found out about the whole daughter of Ashira, I thought, well, maybe it's something that's specific to me. Maybe it's a carryover from, a previous existence. I don't know. So I've been very hesitant about telling you guys how to deal with the demons, because I want to make sure that somebody else has been able to do this, because I don't want to send you out there battling demons when if it's something that it's just because I have this energy to do that. So I'm such a humble person. I mean, the whole thought, everything about it, though, just kind of fell into place. My oldest son, he said, well, Mom, you sure have always had a supernatural, how do you put it, supernatural fearlessness. Supernatural fearlessness. And I thought, geez, that's like one of the best compliments you've ever given me, because it is true. But it's just because I've always known that we would go on, that this was just a temporary existence. That's always been so deep in my persona that I'm not going to allow anything or anybody else to ruin my little trip here. So until I find out some more, until I can find somebody. If you're having problems with the demons, with anybody from the fourth, though, leave me a note down in the bottom, and I will try to help you any way that I can, because I mean, they're really not that scary if you understand that they are doing what they do. They're not like Amityville Horror. I mean, there are, I guess, some that are that powerful, but that's not the usual run-of-the-mill kind of fourth dimensional, fourth realm person that you're going to encounter. So I love you. And when I say it, I mean it. I love you. And if something happens where I get more information about things are getting closer, or what's happening, I will tell you. But remember, you don't have to be perfect. You really and truly do not have to be perfect. I have a little thing that I learned online that I'll put here in the end, that I said one time, and it made my guys smile. So whenever I get that kind of a reaction from them over something, I figure it's something that matters. It's something that, matters to them. So I definitely will let you guys know about that too. Okay. I love you. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to know that you are good enough. I love you, and I'll see you soon.